not only our second reading, but a second workshop. So we are asking that that be scheduled for the 20th.
Okay, that's fine. Sorry.
Okay, no problem. Just a little bit about Florida Rural Water before we get started. We do all sorts of things for small communities. Specialize in wastewater and water rates and financing, serving over 1,400 cities and towns around the state. We've completed over 1,000 financing and rate studies for communities. In fact, I think we're working on one for y'all right now. Over 30 years of advising Florida water and wastewater systems. Rate studies and rate fee analysis that we've performed have never had a legal challenge. They're performed with sound, rational, and methodical procedures, which is a requirement for Florida statute, and uses tested industry standards such as AWWA for our estimates. Strong legal footing under Florida statutes and case law. Water revenues, where do we get the money to pay for our wastewater and water systems? The one everyone knows about are the rates. Everyone gets a bill. Those rates are used to include fixed costs, such as the debt repayments for any loans you have to take out to do improvements, operation and maintenance, et cetera. Then there's the capacity fees, which is what we're here to discuss, as a one-time capacity buy-in for new connections, new developments, et cetera. And connection charges, which are different than the capacity fees in that this is more the infrastructure installation, the water meters, the sewer stub outs, and the effort it takes from the crew. And other fees, late charges, turn-offs, turn-ons, et cetera. Water capacity fees are one-time charge assessed for new connections to reimburse utility systems for capital and fixed costs needed to provide capacity to be used. Fixed costs for water and wastewater services. These costs include the wells, the treatment plants, the storage tanks, pumps, pipes, et cetera. All that is part of your capacity. Your capacity depends on these elements to serve the population. Utility capital expenses are not operations. So this wouldn't be part of your user rates, monthly user rates. That's the operations, that's the debt service, that's things like that. Growth pays for growth, that's our goal here. That's always the question, how shall we pay for growth? Should existing utility ratepayers support system expansion to accommodate growth? Most say no. Capacity fees are designed to make it possible for new customers to pay for their portion of the system and capacity they use up that has been provided in the system for them. Growth pays for growth. This is one of our little examples here. Take a bus, Greyhound bus. There are a limited number of seats available. That's your capacity. Rates pay for operation, debt, gas, tires, driver, repairs, et cetera. Existing ratepayers are paying and have paid for their seat on the bus. Capacity fees by new passengers pay for their own seat on the bus. The principles of equity and fairness and cost is justifiable. Capacity fee objectives. New development pays its own way. Minimize debt or reduce need for future debt. This is, it's hard to set a capacity charge that will mean that you never have to have a debt service, but we can reduce it through proportionally through the new developments. Maintain appropriate level of retained earnings and cash reserves to meet these capital needs. You have a developer come in, you have to somehow upgrade a pump station or a water well, then you have the capital to meet those needs. Is one more fee really needed? That's probably the question of the day here. Dealing with growth and infrastructure decay. Florida statute requires communities to maintain an adequate level of service for public facilities and to anticipate and prepare for growth. It takes many years to build the capacity in a system. It's impossible to provide it at the same time the new growth happens. In other words, maybe 10 homes out there could get by with a 2-inch water line, but then the next 50 homes that are built past that 2-inch, or that 10 homes, will require a 6-inch water line. Now what do we do? You don't dig up the 2-inch and rebuild, so you have to build for the anticipation of that growth. In addition, water and wastewater utilities must maintain infrastructure in good operating condition. Requires adequate funding and continual repair and replacement just to keep up with normal usage and aging. How to determine capacity fees. I know one of the questions we get a lot is well, what's my neighbor doing? How are they doing it? Quick and easy method, poll surrounding communities. There is not a rational basis for the determination of these fees. For them, I'm hoping they had. Not defensible to challenges. If somebody says that's not right, then we can't say, well, they did it that way. Do not rely on comparisons. Every system's different. Some systems, the density is great. Some systems are spread out. They could have the same number of customers. They will have totally different needs for capacity charges. Capacity fee determination is basically the cost that it takes to create that capacity divided by the equivalent residential connections, the units that use the capacity. Capacity fee options. At Florida Rural Water, we use 2 determinations for options for capacity fees. Remaining useful life, which is basically, if you have a 50-year-old system, then maybe most of the useful life's used up a little bit. So useful life basis is based on the years they are expected to continue functioning. Option B, the replacement value. We take all the infrastructure and we determine if we had to replace everything in here, what would it cost? Recommended capacity fees. This is, I guess, the meat and potatoes here. This is for the drinking water system. Your current capacity fee is roughly $2,400 per ERC. For our analysis that we performed, the remaining useful life basis for a capacity fee would be $4,360 per ERC. And option B, the replacement value, is $6,060 per ERC. We always recommend the option B because that's the real sustainable cost to meet the needs of the development. These are just some of the numbers that we came up through the analysis. Basically, water capacity fee, we calculated it costs about $7.50 per gallon of water for water system capital costs. That includes the pipes and the pumps and the wells and towers and all sorts of things, storage. Currently, you're sitting at about 83% of your water treatment plant capacity is being used. So it's almost time for an upgrade currently. This leaves about 1,500 more service connections available to 100% capacity. You would never want to actually make it to 100% capacity before checking out something new. Again, 83% of your water treatment plant is being used. 1,500 service connections are available. This would, based on the recommended capacity fees of replacement value, this would generate about $11 million in capacity fees up to 100% of the capacity. This is for the wastewater system, similar to the water system. Current capacity fees, $4,600 per ERC. Option A, remaining useful life basis for calculating the ERC or the capacity fee, for $4,890 per original equivalent residential connection. And option B for replacement value, $8,560 per ERC.
So that's 800. That's 8,000 total, not incremental 8,000 on top of the 4,000. Correct?
That's 8,000 total for the wastewater, and previous it was 7.
Right. I'm just making sure it's not incremental. This is the new number.
That's the new number, yes, sir.
Okay.
I see what you're saying. Yes, yes.
That's what I make.
You are correct.
Okay.
As we can see, wastewater costs a lot more to serve. Currently, you're using about 50% of your treatment plant capacity, which leaves you about 4,600 more service connections before you're at 100%. Again, you wouldn't want to use it up to 100%.
What is our current build per year, Mark? What's our current build per year?
Current bill?
If we've got 4,000 more connections that we can have here, how many more years before we're at 100%?
I think Bo and Fred will be better to answer that. We're anticipating about 500 new homes a year.
So,
Past year, we built slightly over 600 homes, so I think we'll
Okay.
be on that page.
so 5 years once you so basically 5 years, you might need to come up here, but 5 years once you start throwing some commercial uses in there too, right? Because this is a house connection is going to be more than a crooked can connection. They're going to use different, so you can't compare them. So, okay, so about 5 years, we're actually going to have to do something with a plant.
When
It's
you
being
reach 80%
I know.
capacity, DEP will require you to start planning for expansion.
I
And
think we're already in that mode.
And we're designing now for that expansion, so we'll be under construction within a year and a half. So we're in the ballpark.
It's paying for it's the question, and that's what you're here for. Okay, thank you.
And this is repetitive a little bit, but with those 4,600 new connections, the impact fee recommendation would generate about $40 million in capacity fees.
Okay, so hold off, I want to make sure that we understand this. So if we stop right now and we add another 4,600 homes, that's going to generate $39 million in capacity fees, which be used to pay for the $60 million plan. So the question comes up is, do we raise the fees or do we take on debt? Is what we're going to come down, is ultimately what the question is going to be. Okay, that's my question.
And not to get too editorial, but one thing to consider is debt goes on your existing customers.
Yeah,
And the rates. So that's
yeah, we're fine with that. We understand that piece.
simple. Hey,
So it goes back to your original comment, growth pays for growth.
yes, sir.
Thank you.
That's the goal.
It's just the initial workshop. He just want to present the 30,000-foot view
That's
it.
fine.
and the two recommendations of option A or B replacement versus,
Now, we have, so I just want to understand as we go forward. So we've got an option of this is the minimum you're saying and a maximum that we can go, but we can choose any number in between there. Is that how we're going?
you just can't exceed the maximum in option
Yeah,
B.
I think you can go up to, it's not there's no minimum, but, I mean,
Okay, that's fine. That's what I need to know. Thanks.
we can defend up to the replacement value.
That's fine. And what is the total then? What is the total incremental? What's the incremental between the two?
Roughly $15,000. Not incremental, but total would be 15 minus
Well, we're already paying, so do you know what the number is, Mark?
4,600 plus 2,600.
Yeah, Fred, what's the totals? We have them up there. It's,
I'm just trying to understand what the,
Total's now roughly slightly over $9,000 per house.
and we're eventually going to,
With the
new model,
new model, it'll be around roughly 15,000.
so it's $6,000 per house off of a $6,000, off a $600,000 house. So that's what, 1% increase in the value of the house? Okay. Cool. Is that it for anybody, any comments? You got anything else?
I'd just like to add that this has been kind of a long process, probably too long for some folks. I know Catherine Van Zant started with this, and I picked it up. I just want to give your staff kudos, man. We've had several meetings, and we've had several phone calls, and Fred and Chris and Mark have all been super helpful moving forward through this.
Okay. Fine. With that said, anything else?
Nope, you're good.
Okay, so we'll see you on the, do we make a motion for a workshop on the 28th?
I believe you had that under your city council agenda.
Okay, we'll do that on this, okay. That's fine. Any questions from anybody in the audience at this time? Because we're gonna have to do the same thing again, are we not?
That's right, you
Okay.
will.
Thank you.
Good evening, Nathan Foch, 707 Blue Citrus.
Good evening.
This is clearly needed. We have a lot of debt coming if we don't do this. I think growth should pay for growth. And I'm not sure why we would pick anything but the maximum we're allowed to get the funding. So I hope we're all on board with getting this in as soon as possible. We have a waste plant that we have to build, and that was a very big chunk of what Mark needs to find in the next few years. So hopefully you will all be in favor.
Okay. So
Thank you.
Thank you. And just to make sure, so essentially on this, our understanding is if we were to bond this, we would use the impact fees. If the 5,000 didn't come out automatically, we could use the impact fees to pay back the bond, correct?
That's right, as long as the bond was only for this particular project, correct?
Right. So if we took out X for a bond, then we would just use impact fees every year to pay it back. Now, some developers already have excess credits. Do they not have excess credits? Are there still not credits floating around out there?
There are some credits.
Okay, at the next meeting, can somebody kind of give an understanding, because they can sell credits to other developers. So developer A owns credits, he can sell credits to developer B at 75 cents on the dollar and use those credits if they can't use them, correct?
That's correct.
Okay,
And
That's
they
fine. So
may
let's-
end up being able to sell them for more than what they paid. Yeah, if they wait. a
well,
little bit
yeah,
longer.
so they can sell it at 110 if we go $5,000 more. If we're charging 9,000 now and it's gonna be 15, they could sell them for 12,000, it's still a $3,000 savings, and the person holding them, so, okay.
Right.
That's fine.
And even if you decided to implement the maximum on the meeting on the 20th, we're required to have a 90-day period in between the date of approval and the date that it goes into effect. So I believe it would be August 18th would be the effective date of the new impact fee if that's what you decided to do.
Yeah, I would be curious on this, because every time it looks like when they build a new house and they do a price increase, we're doing 5,000, it looks like they usually go up like 10 or 15,000 per model at everything. So 5,000 is like a very small piece when you talk about what they're already raising them up. Okay. Thank you. Anybody in the audience? Any final thoughts? Anybody else? Okay, with that said, bring it back to council for a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Can I get a second?
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Moving on to call to order Minneola City Council. If we'll all rise for a moment of silence, and Vice Mayor, if you'll lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, agenda review. I think a couple things needed to get pulled off the agenda.
So we
They had requested,
request to table items 1, 11, and 12 to the next meeting.
okay, so 1,
11 and 12?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Marcus, the reason why the project update wasn't included in this week's agenda?
I was gonna bring project update as before item 9. I noticed, I looked for it a minute ago in the back, and I was gonna push it to right before item 9, if you don't mind.
Well, no, I mean, I
It
think
should be on the agenda.
it should, and I think people, they may be missing who want to talk about that, so we don't have to do it this one, but let's just make sure it's on there permanently for the next one.
Sure, and I have Fred, Bo, and Josie here to give project updates at the end of the meeting for
Okay.
all the
Yeah.
projects that we have.
Um,
Or we can speak about it then, but let's just make sure it's on there as a permanent item.
If you don't mind, if you could entertain, we seem to have this thing where it's 5 is presentation, that after the manager's consent agenda, that before we go to discussion items, we just create a complete new border of projects. That we put it there.
I'll be
just
good with that.
so it gets a big bolder one.
Yep, I'll be okay with that. Yep.
Okay, we're just gonna move going forward. It's gonna get, instead of where it says discussion and action items, we're just gonna have,
Project status update.
yeah. And that way, if there's a specific project that someone wants to talk about too, you can put something in there, but in general, it just needs to be there, just for, thank you.
And can you repeat those numbers that we're
Yeah,
eliminating?
1 and then the last 1, 11, and 12.
1, 11.
Motion to table 1, 11, and 12.
I'll make a motion to move items 1, 11, and 12.
Okay, can I get a second?
I'll second.
Okay, first and second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Public comment, is there anybody in the audience that wants to speak on anything that's not on the agenda?
Cheryl Pavlaka, 1808 Cary Street. While the House session, while the legislative session has been extended, I just wanted to let everybody know that the CRA bills, SB 1242 and HB 991, have been indefinitely postponed and withdrawn from consideration. And the House bill, they say laid on the table, so that means postponed, and they're not going to look at it. Also, to my relief, SB 1118 also has been indefinitely postponed. That's the Live Local Act. However, SB 110, which I believe is Speaker Ben Albatron's bill for rural communities, is being sliced and diced. That shouldn't pass, but we'll see what happens with that one. And we're also looking again at the sales tax bill. So I just wanted to give you that update. Thank you very much for your
Thank you.
time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Did she steal your thunder?
Yep, gonna be unemployed here soon.
No, we're good. Okay, with that said, Ms. Flynn, pass, if you want to.
Oh, okay. At this time, we want to recognize Leonard Jackson. He has served on the Planning and Zoning Board for 9 years, and I will tell you, I spent most of them with him. He gave great conversation, asked wonderful questions, and gave us a perspective from a lawyer's point of view. He was amazing on the planning and zoning, and tonight we want to recognize him by presenting him a appreciation plaque. So, Leonard, if you'll come up.
No, I'm good. Yeah, PNC.
Leonard, thank you so much for your
Oh,
service.
you gotta let her know.
We really appreciate everything that you offered this board and gave to us. So, thank you.
Can we get the vice mayor down there too?
She didn't hear.
Mark, can we get the vice mayor, because she was part of the P and Z too? Oh, we got the two coming.
Oh, no problem. What'd you guys got? Do you still have questions?
Thank you very much, Leonard. Thank you, Ms. Jackson. Thank you, Leonard.
Thank you, Pat.
I know, right? We could add thank you, Ms. Jackson. Like, thank you.
Sorry, Ms. Jackson.
Sorry about Jackson. Yeah,
It's thank you.
thank you for that. Okay. Manager's consent agenda. Any questions, concerns? Anybody in the audience have any comments about it? Okay, bring it back to council. Can I get a motion for adjournment? I made a motion for approval. Got excited.
I'll second that.
So moved.
Can I get a second?
I'll second.
First and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Ordinance for impact fees, first reading.
Yes, this is an ordinance of the City of Minneola, Florida, regulating City of Minneola water and wastewater connection fees, providing for legislative findings and intent, adopting a water and wastewater final capacity fee study dated March 31st, 2025, amending Chapter 42 impact fees of the Code of Ordinances relating to water and wastewater utility impact fees, providing for codification and Scrivener's errors, providing for conflicts, providing for a savings clause, providing for severability, providing for an effective date.
With that said, anybody in the audience? Okay, moving on. That was
And-
just first reading.
Yep.
Okay.
The next item is a resolution of the City Council of the City of Minneola, Florida, approving an agreement for special magistrate services between the city and Leonard W. Jackson, authorizing the mayor to execute the agreement, providing for conflicts, severability, and an effective date.
And he's back.
Do we get the plaque back?
No, but we do that new rule. They have to dress like in London, where they have to wear the big white
Oh,
wig
nice.
and the
Yeah.
robe. With the wig.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And he says he wants a bigger gavel, like huge, like the two-handed side. So,
We call you governor?
so I'm fine. Anybody in the audience? This is exciting. So
Yep.
bring it back for a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2025-09, special magistrate appointment.
I'll second it.
First and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Is that through perpetuity, or how does that work?
Yes, we'll have the agreement, the contract, and if there's any issues, then we can
That's fine.
visit that, but otherwise, it'll be a continuing contract.
Okay, thank you.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, sir. Don't forget that big gavel. It's a big one.
Okay, item number 13. Mark,
Yes, sir. Pulling it up.
this is to get Inspire to finish their trailhead.
So we have two moving parts. We have the RFP for the work to be done. We also have this to simultaneously create a site plan. So we have Inspire here. They've done great work. I don't know that Eric is here tonight. But we've asked them to provide us with those services to do a site plan for Trailhead Park.
They're over here.
Right here. I'm sorry, I didn't see you over there.
Are we gonna be able to have all this done and completed for the grant cycle?
The next, which grant?
Live
Oh,
The Live Well?
the current one, probably, I don't think we'll have the site plan ready by then.
Why not? We've been asking for this for a long time. So,
It's $1 million we're gonna leave on the table.
yeah, I mean, this is something that, this stuff of this, I'm about to lose it, honestly, about just things going on and on and on and on and on. We've asked for site plans, we've said it, we've been talking for 3 months about this, and now it's just now coming in front. So, I don't know what needs to be done.
Okay.
There's nobody else asking for money this cycle that I know of. We're it. And so what can Aspire do? We need it done. So I'm supporting approving this, and I'm also saying that it needs to get completed, and we don't need to miss this cycle.
Well, can we, how long does Inspire need to complete this?
I need you to
We
come up.
need to come up. Thank you. Before you lose it, I'll take it.
Hello. We understand that there's an RFP that has come out for the beginning of June, so this site plan needs to happen within this month. so that there's a clear, something that the design build can take as, in order to build.
What is the whole
So,
cycle?
so it's a month. What do we have to do to make it within the next 2 weeks or the next week?
We would have to start going on site inventory. This is a very we're doing just a simple site plan.
Right.
That it can be as a basis.
Mhm.
For us, it's really just getting that approval and going out on site.
Right.
We
so,
have,
Sorry, but so you said 1 month, but then I said, can we do it in 2 months or in 2 weeks? And you said, we'd have to do the site plan. So
yeah,
the question again is, what needs to get done to make this happen in 2 weeks? And before you answer that, Mark, we get this done in 2 weeks, is that enough time to submit for the grant?
I
First-
believe
first
so.
off, who's
I
running-
believe so. I have the dates in the calendar. I believe so.
Can you give us, because that's kind of important, can you give us those dates? Sorry, one second.
Yeah, I think I have it on my calendar too.
Can somebody give me those dates?
Chris, will you check your calendar? I forwarded you those dates.
28th.
You also check your
May
calendar?
28th?
Yep.
So May 28th, packets are due, correct?
then that would be our deadline.
So that would be in 22 days. So we have to, I'm assuming we would have to receive them, let's say the 26th, which is a Monday. That gives us 2 days for us internally to review. So can you guys commit to have those in our inbox, let's say by end of day, the 25th, which is a Sunday, so let's call it the 23rd, the Friday before.
We can do that, especially with all the feedback we got from the last comments from the last hearing
Fine.
here.
So guaranteed, 100%, it'll be 23rd. That way we can hit the target of, that gives us 2 days for internal review. We could submit by the 28th.
We'll do
It
that.
just needs to get submitted. We've talked about this for too long to miss this window.
Okay.
Who on staff's running point on this, Mark? Because accountability at staff level has got to, something's got to happen.
Staff's, Chris is gonna be working on the grant application.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so anybody else, any comments on Trailhead? Okay, is he gonna need anything else to meet this cycle? I mean, we've got this, what else does he need for the grant?
At this time, I can't recall, but we will get it, we will put the application in.
Okay, thank you. So, can I get a motion for approval of request for services for Trailhead?
Yeah, I'll make the motion to approve the purchase request for professional services for site plan for Trailhead if we're able to meet it by the date mentioned before, which is May 23rd,
28.
no. May
26th is
28th
a Monday.
when, hold on. May 28th when we have to submit. It gives the city 2 days to review, 26th, 27th, so we would receive it on the 23rd. So I'll make the motion to approve if we are able to receive it in our inbox by end of day, May 23rd.
I'll second.
First and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. We're asking again for Inspire to do something for Chester Street. I would prefer them not to even start on this one until after
I agree.
the first one's completed.
Yeah, and I also want the Parks and Rec Committee, we need to review what we want, so Candy will work, after this meeting, we'll get together and we'll
Do
work
you
with
want to
Inspire.
table this, or you want to?
Yeah, so, yeah, I'll make a motion to table this, let's do this for a month, so we'll do it for the first meeting in June to bring this back up.
Yeah, we just need to focus on that.
I
That
agree.
gives them,
Perfect.
that gives you time to,
I'll second that.
okay, got a first and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, purchase request for,
And just to clarify, that's coming back on June 3rd, correct?
Yes.
Thank you.
purchase request for professional services, Minneola Cemetery. Is Inspire doing this one too? Okay.
If it's the council's will to have that done by them.
No, it needs to be done. We can just table this till we can't put everything on Inspire. We've got to just do one, knock it off, one and knock it off.
I agree.
I agree.
So we just need to table this till
I love that idea.
we've got to just start checking off. We can't give them 3 things and one person got 3 folders open. We've got to prioritize this stuff.
So, is there a reason why we can't use another site company?
I'm fine with it.
I think we have a conversation with Inspire, I like what they do for the most part. If they're not able to staff up, give them the opportunity. If they can't, then we'll look for another company. There's no reason why we can't have multiple companies working on multiple initiatives.
I'm fine with that. So can you look at that? We can table it tonight. Can you look at that and bring it back for the next one if you have another company that can do this? Or if Inspire can do it and still make deadlines? I think the thing here is, I'm starting to see is, when we do these, we need to have deadlines. It needs to be here. So if we're gonna do cemetery, we want it on this date, one on this date. And if they can't commit, then we go somewhere else.
Correct.
So if you wanna just do some thinking around. Okay, can we table item number 15?
I'll make a motion to
Second.
table item 15.
Okay.
Sorry, I didn't hear you. Did you say it?
I'll second.
Oh.
I'll second your motion.
Sorry.
Any further discussion? This needs to get done, though. Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
One thing I asked Margaret,
Go
to
ahead.
Pat's point, when it does come back, let's make sure we do have deadlines as to when they can commit to get this done. So we're not approving an open-ended purchase request.
Okay.
And let's make sure that's the standard moving forward for any site plan or any projects that are being bidded out to any vendor in the city.
Yeah, because we have a lot of other projects out there that are going to need some site planning, and it's just going to fill it up. So if we can strongly move ahead with looking to see if we can ask someone else,
With which one?
instead of Inspire, someone else,
Okay.
as well as Inspire, because we'll have
But on some
several.
of these, and I know some of these they really need to have Inspire on their first site plan. If we're doing a simple memorial, concrete, places like that.
I
you
agree.
can do we need to go through the whole site plan, or you just have somebody that does the concrete and that? I'm just saying there's parts where conceptually it's a large parcel, I get it. If it's one feature, probably not, so yes. Okay.
Okay.
Final public comment? Mark?
As quick as I can here. The next Minneola Market's May 28th. Memorial Day event will be Monday, May 26th at 10 a.m. at the May Griffith Gazebo area. The agenda management software, Christine and her crew worked really hard on that. I hope you like it. It's been some time in the making, and it's available live to the public and to the council.
Okay.
It's also on the city's website. No parking signs were installed on Tupelo Court as requested by citizens on that street. We had them there, but we changed the wording a little bit. Hopefully that will help.
They appreciated that. They got feedback, so thank you.
2 pet waste stations were ordered for Trailhead Park. We expect them to arrive sometime next week and be installed that week or the week after, depending on when they get here.
Okay.
Staff is working on quotes for the fence for the crash gate. I think Fred met with a contractor today even on that.
It's the crash gate and
At the Miles Ridge Road. The painting of the exterior of City Hall should begin within the next 30 days. We have a commercial project that's on along Highway 27. I'd like to have a workshop with the council, and just wanting to find out what a good day would be for that, for y'all to have. They just want to kind of present their ideas and see what y'all think of them before they move forward with any big purchase.
do a Tuesday in May.
Which,
You can do an open Tuesday in May.
an open Tuesday in May, okay.
Are there any particular ones?
that work for everybody?
Second or fourth?
Yeah. Please let us know as soon as possible, or we can just choose one tonight.
Either way. We'll probably the last one in May, give them
That's fine.
time, give the applicant time.
Just to let y'all know, that's the day after Memorial Day.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's do the first one.
That's the 13th. That's next Tuesday. Will
Next
that give them
Tuesday, I'll
enough
see if the
time?
applicant can have their stuff ready in time. We can do that.
Okay.
We'll ask them tomorrow. The RFP for Trailhead Park improvements been posted on the website, a program we use called Dodge, and it's also been advertised in the Claremont Sun. The landscaping RFP, we were asking permission to void this current contract and go to the next lowest bidder. If we can't reach an agreement with that, we'll go to the next lowest bidder after that, but
I
I'd
just
like to
don't,
work with them.
this is one of those things where we've been milking this along for too long. It just needs to cut ties. Again, to the point of, Eric made a good point, is we had a due date of 6 weeks ago. He was supposed to be completed, or roughly 6, could have been 4, 6, about 6. It's been a while.
Yeah.
So we've given a deposit. He didn't meet the needs. In my humble opinion, it's done. Please get his stuff off property. If not, we'll hire somebody to come throw the dead sod away and bill him for it.
Mm-hmm.
So is it okay if we have a consensus for us to go to the next lowest bidder and
That's
cancel
fine.
this agreement?
Oh, the consensus to get it done, whatever it takes.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is,
Doesn't necessarily have to be the lowest bidder either.
with lowest bidders, then is always, not always the best bidder.
Yes.
No, but
Space Shuttle was built with their lowest bidder.
absent certain things, we usually have to go with that. Okay, and that's all I have. Thank you.
Anything for city manager?
I was going to leave it for my reports, but I'll say it now. Thank you to you and staff, Christine, whomever else, that was able to get that done and at least present it to council and the audience, and looking forward to seeing the next step. Thank you.
I have nothing.
I have nothing. Oh, boy.
I have a list,
Oh,
Wow.
but we can make it quick. At this point in time, a few meetings ago, we actually contracted with somebody to handle our social media. I honestly have buyer's remorse on that. I'm not sure how y'all feel about it. We can discuss it, or I would like to just cancel the contract and let it go out for RFP, and let somebody come and present with exposure, some more examples of what they've done. Again, we can go through and discuss the shortfalls, or we can just cancel it and put it out the right way and set it and get a couple applicants and go to sample. Is there any questions or concerns? I'm canceling the contract.
were they,
But-
correct me if I'm wrong, but they were notified of the shortcomings and they were given opportunity
We
to
talked to 'em.
rectify it?
We talked to them 2 weeks ago. We met with them.
No, it's like as long as they were
Yeah, we
informed.
talked to them 2 weeks ago, and they did put one posting out, but we can go through every posting here if you want to, and where the source of it was, and how much of it was AI generated and how much they missed. I think right now, if you go on social media, you will not even see a link on our Facebook page to South Lake TV saying that it's even being televised at this point in time. So is there a motion, or can we just, anybody have a problem with?
I think they would always be welcome to submit a proposal if they
They
wish
can,
to.
they
when
can
it-
resubmit if they want. But, we just like to cancel the current contract. If they want to resubmit a new contract, then they can do that.
So the reasons, and this is the first I'm hearing about this, so I just wanted
I'll
to
be
get a little bit, you're not spending 30, 40 minutes on it, but just a short story, this is what happened, and this is why we want to go this route, or you want to go this route. So
I can tell
again,
you-
it's the first time I've heard of this. Of course, we can't discuss things like this, so
Right, that's
in
why
a
the
short
first, that's why, but the point in time is, out of respect to them,
Right.
you know, we can have it go on South Lake TV, and I'll be happy to discuss everything we talked about, all the postings or lack thereof.
So that's what the issue is lack of postings?
Basically, majority of the postings were all created by staff here, could have done them themselves. There was nothing, no generated.
Okay.
And although we paid them $4,000, they're billing us $60,000 a year at this point in time. I feel we could bring somebody in-house and do it ourselves. But staff had given them a complete list of calendars. Nothing got posted for the links to any of the meetings, none of the workshops, none of the meetings here got posted. Like a link to South Lake TV, like
Oh,
other
okay.
ones, they just
Right,
didn't
right.
get posted. There was no presence at the market. Minneola Market did not get any advertisement. They were not at the Minneola Market. We have a great portal software that came out, if you've seen it, where people can go into it. There was no media blast done on that one. We got a 19-second video with no voiceover a week and a half after an event. That was done late.
Got a random blueberry pie AI.
Yeah, we got a random blueberry pie done. The half flags ones, we've had the flag half staff for 3 times during this month. The first 2 times got posted. It was something that I sent them and said, hey, this was the thing from Ron DeSantis. The context with it was GPT created, because I guess you can run it through software to see if it's GPT created. So that was 100% GPT created. The last time, which was the fallen law enforcement, which was weekend, we had no acknowledgement. A wire flag was at half mast. It was just missed it. They keep wanting us to provide content. We pay them a lot of money, and they probably should come up with themselves. So I've talked to a couple other marketing companies around here. A lot of them are interested in it, and
Have you guys had a meeting with, I'm just shocked.
No.
That's, I mean, that's the reason why I'm asking
No.
these
Yes, we
questions. It's not that I don't doubt you,
met with them.
nothing.
We met with them after the Crooked Can incident. And said, you need to put something out on video. We met with them on Tuesday after they finally got it out, and they came up with a 19-second video. They had no,
This was after the Crooked Can.
yeah, they had no footage during it. I just am not happy. That's a direct reflection of the city, of what it is. And so I personally have buyer's remorse. I was very much for them. I thought it was a great opportunity. I'm just disappointed that they did not hit the ball, hit it running, and you know, like the landscaping people that we had in November, and it looks like this in May. Every month, oh, we need another month. We need another month. We need another month. When we should have cut them loose back in November. I'm not doing this with the social media
Understood.
piece. So I would like to cancel the contract. I think Mark could probably cancel it, but I just, council, I don't want council to get blindsided and say, would you cancel it for?
Yeah, I was just gonna say that I am looking at the contract now, and we can provide 15 days written notice with or without cause and have that contract canceled. So I would just recommend that staff go ahead and draft something, letting them know that we wish to do so.
Okay. We good? Can I, you got any question for that, or we just good?
We're good?
Okay. We need an RFP. In the meantime, though, Christine, can you and Brad kind of just talk about if y'all were gonna do this in-house? I think there's some compensation if you save $60,000, that they should get compensated for a little bit more, or we bring an intern in, or what the options are.
Okay.
At least if somebody, I feel if somebody's in-house, then they know what's going on. It's just, I'm just disappointed.
Yeah, it's sad to hear.
I
Yeah.
am. It's just, it is sad.
Yeah, it is, and I'm shocked, not like him, because I've seen his past work, but, you know, I respect
Yeah.
your opinion, and,
And I told them.
It is.
And I told them at the meeting, you have 2 weeks, or I'm gonna bring it up at at this meeting to cancel the contract and do something, and they've done nothing. They have reached out a couple times and they reached out once to Mark for one posting, wanting him to approve it. Well, if Mark was supposed to approve all of them, then Mark could do the posting himself. He's already, so that's it.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, speaking of Mark doing everything, leading into this, Mark's overworked, and I think Mark needs an assistant. Mark and I have had this discussion in the past.
I brought that up a couple months ago.
Yeah, but I thought
But
Christine was his
he
assistant.
needs an assistant,
Like an
but,
assistant city manager.
but listening to Mark, and this is where we're gonna have to figure out, Mark, I'm asking you, you need to figure out, Mark's biggest concern, and correct me if I'm wrong, is boots on the ground.
That's what we
It's
really need.
basically the end user doing the job. Mark is here, and it's these people down here, the water people, the people doing the water, public works, any of those people, is where he's short. So what he's trying to do is trying to get those people in, spending a lot of time, and then that takes away from the others. So if he could get fully staffed, but I still think you need a succession planning, somebody that knows that too. So in this coming budget, some type of organization that you have a backup, it's something that's,
Yeah, this was brought up a couple months ago.
yeah, it is.
I brought that up
Yeah,
a
it
couple
is,
months
it
ago.
is, and I'm just saying that.
Yeah, but
Mark,
if I can say, and I remember when Eric brought this up, and I mentioned, I thought Christine was the assistant city manager.
She's like, she's a city
She's
clerk.
city
City
clerk,
clerk.
but I could have sworn I seen it on a business card.
She's the assistant to the city manager.
Oh, okay.
That's a
To
key
the
piece.
city manager.
Here all
office
this time,
reference?
well then, you know what?
Regional manager?
Heck yeah, and that's why I guess I'm always going to you, because to his assistant that I thought that you were,
So we're
that,
just- We're more concerned about you, Mark.
Yes.
And we want to make sure that we're giving you the resources that you
my
need
apologies, Christine.
and the staffing that you need to make the city run. The city runs well, but sometimes I feel you got your hands and your feet like all these little holes with plugs, and you're like, we want you to be able to relax on the weekends and.
It's definitely the relaxing on the weekend, but my biggest fear is, God forbid, something happen to Mark. This city, where are we gonna be? Now that I know we don't have an assistant city manager. OMG. So,
I
yes, I'm,
Mark, whatever you need, please let us know. We're here to support you.
Thank you.
We don't want you to go anywhere. This
No.
isn't trying to push you out. We're trying to make you comfortable to stay. You know, it just, what do you need from us as council members to make your life easier? And,
can I make a recommendation?
yeah,
For a full-time assistant manager,
and I
city
say-
manager,
it's-
excuse me,
It's so easy to.
to say it?
I agree with that. It's so easy to say it until you read articles on how hard it is to find a city manager in general.
Okay.
So I'm just saying, Mark, we want you to
Appreciate
do
that.
well and be successful. And we want you to have a good work-life balance that I feel you don't have at times. And part of it is me. I'm part of your problem. I'm trying to be better, but I do lose it periodically. So just think about it, please.
Can we get
Yes,
a
sir.
deadline?
Can we
go.
get a
Because you
deadline?
know, we all know Mark very well.
But-
When I brought this up, I asked for it to be looked into the next budget hearing, which is in August, so that deadline was already brought up by me.
So basically, we want to at least see a head count on the budget.
Sure. Yeah, that was brought up by me 2 months ago.
Yeah.
So this is, and I'm shaking my head, nothing to think that's you, Mark, but this was brought up. This
Yeah.
was brought up, and
I just
it
wanted-
it takes 2 months for something for it to get to this point. It kind of goes back to the same theme that we had earlier of nothing gets done. So I shake my hair, said, okay, that's good and great, but unfortunately, I'm come to the attitude of I'll see it when I believe it. So
Yeah, I'm just getting the projects are just,
Like I said,
yeah.
I believe it when I see it.
We've hired a second project manager, actually as a promotion from within. He just completed his engineering degree. So he will be getting, required to get certified, and also will be training under several people.
So,
He'll do,
Then we
he's
have
gonna do a
another,
good job.
so when that, all we're doing is shifting over, and now we're missing a boots on the ground. We're not, it's not incremental.
wait, Mark, so, and when we hired this person, we hired an entry-level position for a pretty complex growing city. I mean, we're taking almost 2 steps back with the idea that we're investing this time and effort to take 5 steps forward, rather than bringing someone who has the experience already that we can hit the ground running. I just think that's gonna delay things even more.
He's got
I-
construction experience, and again, he has an engineering degree from a different country, and he just completed the one here in this country. He was an engineer in a previous, in another country where he worked
What country was that? Can you
construction with
divulge that?
high-level, high-rises.
Can you divulge that?
What's that?
Can you divulge what country?
Vietnam.
So in Vietnam, and he specializes in high-rises, which we have none here. I just don't think that was the most prudent hire. I could be wrong, but Jason, based on what you're telling us, I just feel like this is gonna be a couple months before he's able, and I have no doubt that he can pick it up 100%, but I just don't think that was the most prudent hire, in my humble opinion.
Yeah, he's already in-house, and I know the council likes to see promotions from within, give people opportunities. He has been an excellent employee so far in the role. Every task we've given him, he's done a fantastic job with. Learns everything in and out very quickly. I think y'all will see a big difference with him on board.
I just know that these jobs need to get, when we have deadlines, things need to get met.
Mm-hmm.
It's just sort of, okay,
Okay.
that was enough for my list. Can I have anything else? And I'll save the last one for next month.
Okay.
Nothing for the city manager. And so for the city attorney to speak?
Oh,
No?
That
City-
was it. I thought we,
No,
oh,
that
city
was it.
attorney. She had nothing.
I'm good, thank you.
Okay. I have nothing for the city attorney. Thank you.
Nothing for the city attorney.
No, she's too expensive, I'm good.
No, nothing this evening.
Just want to wish the mothers out there a happy Mother's Day upcoming.
I'm good, thank you.
Can I get a motion? I'm good. Can we get a motion for adjournment?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Can I get a second?
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye. I'm gonna turn that.
Call me a cynic.
Is that the one you were talking about the other day? The grape? The grape? No, I know high